next to George, the curious little monkey. He must know what everything's about. Curious George, the curious little monkey. What's he up to? Let's find out.
Curious George and the new neighbors. Good morning, George, said the man with the yellow hat. Have you seen our new neighbors? Last night, while you were sleeping, the moving van came with all the furniture. You can go and visit them and help them unpack, but don't get into trouble. George got up and looked out the window. What a surprise! On the lawn of the house across the street, there were lots of tables, lamps, and chairs. There was even a parrot in his cage. George ran over to the new neighbors. Hi, said the girl in the blue dress. My name is Susan. This is my baby brother. I'm looking after him. Susan, called her mother, we're going to be busy inside the house. Watch your brother until we're finished. George was looking at the crates and boxes on the lawn. He was curious. Would you like to see what's inside? Asked Susan. She opened a long, narrow box. There was a shiny bicycle with a basket in front. The basket had a lid that opened and closed. George helped Susan lift the bicycle out of the box. My daddy gave me the bike when we moved, Susan said. You can ride it if you like. George climbed on the bike. He rode it up and down the lawn. Then he leaned back in his seat and rode it on just one wheel. That's great, Susan shouted and clapped her hands. George was the best bike rider she had ever seen. George started to ride the bike backwards. Watch out, shouted Susan. You're going to hit the moving van. The basket flew off the bike and so did George right onto the front lawn. George, cried Susan, are you all right? Luckily, George had fallen on the grass. He was not hurt. Susan's mother had heard the noise and came running over to see what happened. Nobody was looking after the baby, who was watching the parrot. He reached for the door of the parrot's cage, opened it, and tried to grab the bird. The bird was frightened. It flew out of its cage and landed in a pine tree. Look what's happened, cried Susan. The parrot has escaped. And she began to cry. How are we ever going to get him back? But George knew what to do. He jumped up from the lawn. First, he grabbed the basket. Then he went over to the empty bird cage, took out some of the bird seed, and put it in the basket. Slowly, he climbed up the pine tree, very slowly. If the bird got frightened, he might fly away and never come back. Everybody on the ground was watching. Now George was very close. He opened the top of the basket and moved even closer to the bird. When the parrot saw the bird seed, he jumped right in. He was hungry. While the parrot ate the bird seed, George closed the top of the basket. Hooray! It was safe and sound inside. George handed the basket over to Susan's mother. Thank you very much, George, she said. You are one of the best neighbors we have ever had. You can ride my bike anytime, Susan said. New neighbors, new friends. George was lucky today.